With each day that passes by, we are getting closer to the very end of filming for Star Wars episodes of music, the special effects, the visual effects, ADR, color correction, you name it. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I gotta say about this movie that I'm truly excited for is to see exactly what JJ is going to do for the character of Luke Skywalker portrayed by Mark Hamill once more in the final installment of this current trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. However, one of the set designs involving Mark Hamill actually is going to involve a very crucial scene in the overall plot of this movie. Now, it's said that Mark Hamill is set to shoot a sequence in which he will be instructed to stand on a stage in front of a green screen that will wrap around Hamill. It's described as a 360-degree green screen, where a camera will be spinning around Mark. It said that the material to replace the green screen will emulate what the netherworld of the Force looks like for a brief moment. The visuals are said to show Luke entering the netherworld, and Hamill will be instructed to stand very still and look at the ceiling as the camera rises. Also, it's said that this is where the next generation CGI technology will come into play, and it may be a scene in which Luke is saying his goodbyes to a specific character and to the audience. However, that is still unclear. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this that are really exciting to me when it comes to, of course, exactly what JJ is going to do for the character of Luke, the Force, and everything that's related to Star Wars in Episode 9. So first things first, like I say, Mark Hamill, one of the most important scenes here. You know, it's actually going to be one of the big scenes within the third act of the film, since J.J. Abrams likes to shoot in order. I don't know if you guys knew that. But if we look at Episode 9 as a whole, this whole 360-degree green screen that is going to be wrapped around Mark Hamill, where a camera will be spinning around Mark, and that actual green screen is actually going to be replaced by something that will emulate the netherworld of the Force and show us Luke entering the netherworld. And there's a lot of talk that this is a moment in which Luke is saying his goodbyes to a very specific character in the story of this movie, and it could very well also be the last time that we see Luke in Episode 9. So, with that being said, this would also show us, alright, visually speaking, what it's like for a Force Ghost, and what the Force Ghost actually sees when it vanishes before the mortal world. Now, you may have seen this numerous times, right, in the originals, and even, of course, you know, in the sequel trilogy. You do see the Force Ghost either coming into the mortal world or exiting the mortal world, basically vanishing or reappearing. And we've seen this constantly throughout the Star Wars franchise. So with that being said, alright, it always made us wonder exactly what does the Force Ghost see when that actually occurs. That's exactly what J.J. Abrams wants to explore in Episode 9 through the use of the character of Luke Skywalker, and that's going to be one of the big sequences in which this 360-degree green screen and the camera spinning around Mark will actually show us what Skywalker is going to see as he enters the netherworld of the Force and saying his goodbyes to one of the characters. My guess is it's going to be General Leia Organa, because it does connect to one of the descriptions that we heard about a couple of months ago, about actually having Luke Skywalker reuniting with his sister while he's in the form of a Force Ghost, eventually vanishing into nothing. I believe that this sequence that Mark Hamill is all set to shoot is the same exact sequence of where he's actually going to be interacting with General Leia, his sister. So with that being said, alright, I know a lot of you guys out there are not all excited about Force Ghost version of Luke Skywalker, and I totally understand that. I do. A lot of people would just love to see him back to life and well, and pretty much doing his thing as he could have done in The Last Jedi. So, with that being said, guys, I will say that this next generation CGI technology, it sounds very intriguing. It does. I think it's going to be one of the big selling points of this movie, and specifically the ending of Episode 9, and exactly how this is going to be executed on the big screen for Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. I honestly am just trying to imagine it in my head right now of what it's actually going to look like, what the netherworld of the Force is actually going to appear like in Episode 9. Is it just going to be like space? Or is it going to have like a lot of, different blue hues and red hues here and there? Or like a different dimension type of thing? We're not quite sure exactly what the Netherworld necessarily looks like. So with that being said, this also sounds like this is something that J.J. Abrams would totally do, and it makes a lot of sense. We've seen great examples of this in his movies and the other TV shows that he has worked on, and it definitely lines directly up with just this, and I can only imagine what J.J. would have done if he actually pretty much stood around for Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and directed it and wrote the movie. I could only imagine what he would have done in that film. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.